Hello everyone. So today the agenda of this particular video is basically to demonstrate the virtualization and cloud computing assignment number one. So this assignment uh, objective is to basically make the student to understand how to use VirtualBox, how to create multiple VMs, how to make them VMs interact within each others, and how we can within the private network is by making the VM reside under the private network, how to communicate them, so on and so forth. So without any further ado, let's drill down into the uh, practical how did I cover this assignment. Okay, so here we go. So first we have to download the VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox. So depends upon the OS type that you're using, so be it a Windows, Mac, or Linux, any type of your platform or packages. Mine is Mac M3, so I'm going to use Mac OS Apple Silicon Host. If I click on this, then it's going to download the particular this thing. It's going to say it's asking me to download. Okay, so you can download and save the your executable file. Then you once as soon as you install your application, so this particular application is gonna pop up. Okay, so it looks gonna look like this way. These four won't be there over there. Okay, they just preview it will be like this way. Okay, so this is just a virtual box right now we downloaded, but in the virtual box we have to now create a VM. So to do so we need an ISO file for that. So to download the ISO file, what you can do is you can download any lightweight package. Okay, you can download Ubuntu, Puppy Linux, tiny this thing your tiny Linux. What I did, I opted for Debian based this thing Debian based. It's very lightweight, it's like approx 500 MB. So what I did, I just went on this particular HTTP console, and then I've downloaded this particular file. As mine is MacBook is based on 64-bit architecture, so I have to download the ARM 64. So once as soon as I click on this, it will be downloaded. You can see the further steps how I've done it in the attachment file that I'll give it in the document. So once you download that ISO file, keep it somewhere in your preferred location. So then what next you have to do is I'll show you how to create a VM. Okay, I'll show you one, then we can jump off either of these VM, and then I can show you the demonstration. Okay, so what I'll do is first you have to go down new option. So the name we have to specify, ensure that the name shouldn't be either existing one. Okay, if you have any VM in your created already, so you shouldn't replicate, you shouldn't reuse those names. So what I'll do is I've already created VM1, VM2, and so on and so forth. So I'll do VM5. I'll try to create. Okay, so if you see, if I give the existing one, it gives an error over here. If I give a new one, then it's like tick mark. Okay, so this is the folder where I'm specifying all my VMs will be getting resides. This is the ISO images that I have to use. So as I said, I've downloaded Debian. I've tried with Core Plus, Tiny Core, and F96. Yeah, this is Puppy Linux. So you can use either one. So I've used Debian. So all these value gets pre-filled automatically. It depends upon your need. If you want to change the subtype, you have to go for Ubuntu or Fedora or Oracle Linux, the base OS. You can make it anything. I'm not gonna tweak any value over here. It's not a biggie thing. It's as I said, mine is ARM 64-bit architecture. I'm going to keep this one. That's a default one. Then it for some of the ISO file, this particular option will be not enabled because they ask you to create a user over there, and for some of the ISO they populate the option over here itself. So for Debian, it's asking over here. So what I can do is I can create a user. Okay, just note that don't use a root user because the root user is already by default used by your ISO, the root user. Okay, so don't use that. You can use some differently. Let's say we'll go with guest, and the password will keep something, some for time being will keep something like this way. Okay, so ensure that both the password are same. Okay, then hardware specification, minimum 2 MB is, there's nothing as minimum RAM. This is just a RAM. Depend upon your need, you can assign the memory. We'll go with 2 MB default one. I'm not gonna manipulate. The processor also depends upon your need. If you want to tweak the processors, if you're doing high computation, you can increase the processor one GPU to from one CPU to 22 CPU. Okay, and this thing you have to keep it enabled. Although it's by default, you have to keep it enabled. Then you select this thing. If it is not selected, select this one. This pre-default selected. Assign the size of your virtual disk. Ideally, it is suggested that you have to use 10 MB or 5 MB. Uh, Ideally, it is suggested to use approx 10 GB or 20 GB. So let's keep like that. Okay. Then moving onward, we'll do finish. So what will happen now? Now the VM is automatically install all the burn the ISO, and then it's gonna automatically will do it. Okay, you don't have to intervene anywhere. You don't have to take your mouse or type anything. Nothing. Automatic all the installation is gonna happen. So that's the best thing of the Debian. That's why I've gone with the this particular ISO. If you have seen that I've tried with multiple ISO file, the core one, tiny core, then your puppy Linux, but I found this particular ISO pretty much convenient and easy to use, as there was no big computation need, or the assignment goal was not too crazy, so I've gone with this. Okay, so now all the installations, all the root creations, base file, everything is gonna environment creations and all, everything automatically the iOS is gonna take care, and all the settings that we have provided. If you recall that we have given the user information at the starting, yeah, it uses those information and it continues ahead. Okay, so that's a good thing I find in this particular uh, VirtualBox. But this facility is not provided for all the ISO. In some of the ISO it is there. Okay, so also point to note here is, like, when I was doing this assignment, I observed that if you use root user, then over here in this particular step it asks you to uh, it's asked you to change the username because root user is already there. So that's a good thing that you can manually change it and then continues further. Okay, yeah, so let's wait for a couple of minutes. I think it's almost pretty much it is done, I think so. Let's see. Then I can show you the how the other VMs are there. I'll run the already existing. So as you can see, this already done. It's created. The VM is started. Okay, if you see, it is gonna ask for my VBox logging. So I'll give my username, guest, and my password is the one that I have given there. Voila, it's got logged in. Okay, so now let's move back to the existing one. Okay, so this is the way I just showcase you how you can create your VMs. Okay, so I'll just power on my existing. Okay, before doing that, okay, I'll give you one quick overview on the configuration that we have to do. So first let's stop this thing. I'll show you the configuration that we are supposed to do. Okay, I think it's still in run mode, right? Let's power it off. Okay, so let's go to setting. Okay, so now let's go to setting. Here in the if you scroll down, if you see here, it's showing as empty. So what you have to do is select this particular blue radio button sort of, and select the ISO file that you have chosen for burning on the VM, and scroll down in the adapter one, just select to your internal network. And if you want to change the name, change the name. If you want to keep it as it is, keep it as like this way. Don't change any default value. Ensure that all the names in both the VM you have the same, like whatever VMs you want to try to connect, so keep the name same, we have to keep the name same, and then click on OK, and then it saves. So in the same way I have done for this thing. I'll show you this one, VM1. Okay, and I'll move it, bring it here. Parallelly I'll run VM2 also. So this is my VM1, this is VM2. So I have created a microservice application which is, wait, let me just first log in. Yeah. Okay, so I have created a microservice application here in both the VM. If you see, I have created a microservice application. Yeah. Okay, see, so this particular application, what it does is just gonna call an API of, wait, let me nano. Okay, I'll showcase you this one also. Yeah, if you see, what is this particular application is doing, it's gonna call the URL of this particular VM2, and it's this VM2 is gonna return the data. Okay, which has like runtime, it is giving the, creating the UID and saying the virtualization and computing assignment 1, and then the response is gonna populated by this particular VM. So VM2 is gonna call to VM, and VM2, then the VM2 is gonna perform some operation, is gonna return the response to VM1, and then the output will be printed. So how does it looks like, I'll show you. Okay, okay, okay. So first let's go into the virtual environment. Okay, now let's run our application. Okay, so this is in I haven't run like I have run this application in the terminal itself, I haven't detached it. As I'll run this application in detach mode in VM2, as I have to see, I have to execute a curl command, right? So I'm gonna run into the detach mode. So to do so, I'll first activate the environment. So now what I'm supposed to do, with the help of nohub, I'm gonna say nohub run my Python application. I'll give this some service app log. This is my log file name. Okay, here I'm gonna log it, 2 and 1 and, okay, some command issue I guess. No hub. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, now it's done. Now this application is running in detach mode. Okay, now this application is running in detach mode. So what we can do is, no. So what I'll do is curl http colon, then I'm gonna give the IP address of first VM. Okay, that is 1.10. The port was 5000, and the endpoint was introduce. See, if you see here, the API call came get 200. It came to VM2. It fetched the UID and the messages, and you see in the terminal 2 it got printed. Okay, if you see here, this thing, virtualization cloud computing assignment 1 UID. Okay, so this is how the microservice worked, and this is the way it within the private network, it both the VM got interacted with each other. So I hope you like understood, like I've successfully completed my assignment, and then like thank you so much for watching this. Cheers, bye bye.